Simply because we felt like we could still, it wasn't one of the ones
And
for,
local, more local control, right?
yeah. And they've got the big guys in the backyards, and the butlers really
Yeah.
just on the other side of Allegheny County, so just.
Okay. We ready? Okay. Well, good evening, everybody. My name's Eric Funk, and on behalf of the Clarion Blueprint, Inc., I'd like to welcome everybody here at the Haskell House and at home on Facebook to the Great Clarion Holiday Innovation Invitation. And I didn't stumble over that. That was a tongue twister for sure. But if you haven't been to the Haskell House, if you're watching this, it's absolutely magnificent. Please make sure you check with the folks here and book an event here. It's an absolutely outstanding place. Thanks to the folks, again, that have exploreClarion for their work, getting this out on Facebook, and for all the great news coverage they provide our community every day. So I'm excited. We got 3 great businesses here, 3 entrepreneurs that are going to present exciting ideas to help continue to invigorate our community. And I can't wait to hear their information. So I'm going to turn the podium over to a young lady that gets to call me Dad. I'm very proud of her, Jessica Funk. Come on up.
All right. Hello, everybody. I'm Jessica Funk. I am the Economic Development Specialist with Clarion County Economic Development Corporation, as well as the Volunteer Program Manager for CBCI. So that's a mouthful. There's got a lot going on. So I'm going to introduce the judges and the contestants. We'll start with the judges. We have Andy Walker, Executive Director of the Office of Economic, Civic, and Community Engagement at Allegheny College. That was a mouthful. Bridget Thornton, she is the Wellness Coordinator and Interim Director of the Butler Healthcare System Clarion Hospital Foundation. And Jennifer Fulmer-Vinson, she is the Mayor-elect for Clarion Borough, owner of the Fulmer House, and a member of Destination Clarion Downtown. Now on to our presenters for tonight. We have Tom Schweitzer, and he will be presenting about Go Paddle, a kayak and paddleboard rental service. Nancy Hanna will be presenting about the local Clarion County. And then Joe Scarnati, he will be presenting about the Main Street Emporium project. So without further ado, I think I'm going to turn it over to Bill Fontana.
Well, good evening, everybody. My job tonight is to explain a little bit of this to everybody in the audience, and to those of you that are watching this online this evening. Clarion has been since 2014 in a program of the Federal Home Loan Bank of Pittsburgh called the Blueprint Program. And it's a program designed to kind of kickstart community revitalization. And I'm with the Pennsylvania Downtown Center. I'm the Director of Strategic Initiatives there. It's a Harrisburg-based nonprofit organization. And we assist communities around the Commonwealth with revitalization efforts. About a year and a half ago, we were fortunate enough to apply for a grant to the U.S. Department of Agriculture for something called their Rural Placemaking Innovation Challenge Grant. And as part of that, we are able to kind of update the 5-year strategic plan for the revitalization of 6 communities, primarily along the Interstate 80 corridor. But we are also able to provide communities with up to $10,000 in what we call innovation grants. And so what we're going to do tonight is hear from 3 applicants who are interested in accessing those funds. The way this will work is each applicant will have about 7.5 minutes to make a presentation, And then our panel of judges will have another 7.5 minutes to ask some questions. The judges will score the results, and at the end of the night, at the end of the presentations, they will retire to the back, and hopefully within a half hour or so, we'll have a decision about the amounts that are going to be awarded tonight. The judges have complete discretion as to how they want to allocate the money. They can give $10,000 to one applicant. They can give each applicant a third. They can give, they can break it up however they wish. However, anybody that gets an award will not get less than $2,500. So at the end of their deliberations, they're going to come back. In the interim, we're going to hear from Cindy Nellis, who is the director of the Clarion University Small Business Development Center, because we really hope that this effort will kickstart the development of a more involved entrepreneurial ecosystem here in Clarion. We would really like to see those of you who are maybe watching this tonight online and producing something in your garage or your basement, have a service that you do out of your house, provide out of your house, and you'd like to get a little more professional with what you do. Maybe you need access to certain types of specialized tools and equipment. All that sort of stuff is kind of on the table here going forward. And so that, we really hope that anybody that's watching this will call either the Clarion County Economic Development Corporation or the Small Business Development Center to access resources and some assistance with moving your particular business idea forward. So with that, Jess, are you going to introduce? You want me to go ahead and introduce the first contestant? So, who is that? I guess that's going to be Nancy. First person up tonight will be Nancy Hanna, who will be making a presentation on pop-up retail here in Clarion. So, Nancy, come on up.
Here's something for you.
Oh, yeah, fine. Oops.
Now, Cindy, I'm already looking for the, I hit escape and then PowerPoint? Sorry? Edge? Oh, okay. And then present. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for giving me this wonderful opportunity. This is me at 6 years old in front of Crooks Clothing. My father owned the business from my grandfather and my great uncle, and it's been in the family for like 116 years. So a year ago, I decided to semi-retire and move back to the area from the Chicagoland area. And I came back and it wasn't quite the same Clarion that I was familiar with growing up. And so that got me to thinking about what could I do to help Clarion kind of get some excitement back. So I kind of created this idea of doing the local Clarion County, because I think we are a county. We're not just one town, we're the whole county. And the local Clarion County is a community-based effort to create and produce special events and business opportunities on and around Main Street Clarion. That's our starting off point. To encourage and support innovative and new business development for local entrepreneurs throughout the county. So the first thing that I thought would be fun is to do pop-up shops. There were a lot of people, and I didn't know how many people were out there, but I thought, what a great opportunity to take some of these empty spaces in downtown and kind of bring some excitement. Well, what is a pop-up shop? They've been going on for a while now. A pop-up shop is a term given to a shop or a store that is deliberately temporary. It pops up for a limited time period, and it has unique products in it. So I thought pop-ups would also give us a chance to buy some things on Main Street that currently aren't available. The two events that we held this year were in August and December. And here are some pictures from the events. We had just some wonderful local people, all the way from Tynesta and Knox and Du Bois and Brookville and Clarion. And so here are some of this is the two promo pieces I created for the pop-up shops. The first pop-up event we held in front of stores. And it was a summer day, and all of a sudden, it was so nice. The Chamber of Commerce gave us money for big pop-up signs, so we just thought we're gonna put these powerful pop-up here, pop-up there. And we used social media to do this. We had 17 pop-up shops, which I thought was just terrific. And then this last event was Saturday night. And we held it in conjunction with some other events going on. And so when we started doing pop-ups, it was a question of how often was a good idea to do the pop-ups. So I'll talk about that a little later. One of the existing businesses, it was kind of fun this winter to come inside the spaces. So we went, instead of just outside the storefronts, we moved inside. And here's what one of the stores said: we had a great day on Saturday, relatively high sales, a lot of new faces. We love the pop-ups and we're happy to keep hosting them. And then another person said, I can't put a dollar figure to the value, but I do firmly believe that they helped get new people through the door. And if you have ever run a business, you know how important it is to just get someone to take that first time step to get you through the front door. And that's what we did on Saturday. And they popped up. So here is what I mentioned before. We were talking about, should we do a first Friday, second Saturday? The feeling was, as we get started, maybe we should just do this quarterly. So we have right now the idea to do a spring event, a summer event, a fall, and a winter event. And of course, our fall event will be ALF. And so a spring event, we envision a kind of a get out there festival. Something that would inspire all the trails and the great outdoors and the loop and those kinds of things, and kind of showcase our whole area. And in the meantime, when that event happens, we'll pop up with our shops. And the summer, we're hoping to reprise this idea of a music festival that we would hold in downtown Clarion. So that's the idea. And then the winter just happened, and we had our ugly sweater parade. And you saw this promo piece, which is, we worked together, Holly Jolly Christmas and Downtown Clarion Ugly Sweater Parade. So it popped up there, and I have to hand it to the Haskell House because they did a craft show. And as they say, more is more. So that's always good because there was more activity. One of the exciting things is creating synergy. That is what builds momentum and excitement in a community. Synergy is combining values and performance of two or more companies to achieve a greater outcome than the sum of their individual parts. And no time like now do we need to create this kind of synergy in Clarion. And of course, there's going to be greater financial rewards, right? So it's also this wonderful time we have right now to help reinvent and reimagine what the workplace looks like, how to play and build life and community in towns. And pop-ups are a part of that. A lot of people don't want to carry a brick and mortar store on their own. They don't want to necessarily be in there 40 hours a week. So Destination Clarion County, there's a concept called clustering. And right now, one of the big goals of the local is to help cluster some new businesses in downtown Clarion. And I have to hand it to you guys who have moved into the Wines building. And Dan Smith's Candy, I mean, it just has made a great burst. But we need more. We need places to eat. We need women and families to get in a car and come to Clarion. And it's not just FL Crooks. I see Jim sitting out there. We get people from all over that come to shop at FL Crooks. And guess what? Sometimes they're leaving. They're not necessarily staying. They're asking, where do we eat? And on a Monday, we say Bob Subs. And they've bought a beautiful suit, and then we send them to Bob Subs. So I want to thank you for the chance to give this presentation. This is not us fashion gone wrong. It's that we were supporting our Ugly Sweater Parade this Saturday, and so we took a picture at Mechanistic. Thank you all so much for your time.
All right, well, thank you, Nancy, for taking the...
It was involving a big community-wide, different things happening. So we did the parade, and it was Christmas time. So I had 7 pop-up shops this time, but I have to hand it to the grant committee, and this is how these things go. Like the pop-up shops, there was one gal who had products and had a really strong concept, but she didn't have a name, and she didn't have a logo. And so when we did the first pop-ups, she created them for the pop-ups. Well, because of this grant proposal, it caused me to say, how can I start generating some income from this event? So I charged each pop-up $20, and then I asked them to donate an item, and we did a basket, and we got over $120 for a raffle basket. So I am exploring ways to generate income through the pop-ups. I hope that answered your question.
No, that's fine. Thank you.
So with any type of business, marketing is such a key strategy for that. So my question revolves around what types of marketing strategies have you done so far? I'm assuming social media and those types of things, but do you have a marketing plan or some ideas or thoughts into place as you launch this?
Well, I think this is a very unique market in Clarion. Obviously, Haskell House exploreClarion is one of the biggest players, probably the biggest. Then the newspapers, which would cost money to put ads. We did get some editorial coverage, which was terrific, especially the first time around because it was a little bit of a unique thing for Clarion. We did hit the social media hard, and so I have a Facebook page. I opened an Instagram. I have to say, because it's just me and I can't hire anyone, this is where some of the funds would go, is to making sure they connect with one another. So I had some technical challenges. Everything came together so fast for this December pop-up because it was in committee and these ideas were incubating. But I think as we get further out in our planning, it's silly enough, but the little drop signs, yard signs, work very well. We did that in the summer. We had probably 250 to 300 people in the summer. I would say we had at least that again Saturday. And it was very fun to hear people say, hey, we're here for the pop-ups, and then we're going to come back for the parade. And that's people spending more time in Clarion and spending, going to grab dinner as well. So Michelle's had almost a line out the door. I was in there with the raffle basket, and it was completely lined up. Mechanistic Brewery said the summer was one of their best nights they've had all year, and they had another just stellar night on Saturday. So that's what kind of led me to think, let's think more broadly as far as pulling together and working together as a community to create more ALF kind of events in Clarion. I think it's a natural, and we should do it. So I want to, the local Clarion County, want to help make those connections, set up those meetings, get everybody excited, and get the input of ideas. So I think that will help as more people and organizations are represented and get involved.
I go back and forth between two questions. I'm going to, speaking of exploreClarion, which did a great job of getting the information out there, but according to a recent post, so many people still didn't see anything on social media. And I know several sites, the local Destination Clarion Downtown, exploreClarion, we all shared, and individuals shared about the upcoming events, and people were still saying they didn't see anything. Do you have any thoughts on ways, other than some of the social media like Facebook, that we could try to get this information out to people?
Well, I have to say, you know, I created the postcards. The summer event had a poster size. This was a new thing. I did a lot of this in the Chicago area with local events, and it was quite effective, but it's new to the community. And so at Michelle's, number one, we didn't have the lead time, but the stack of cards were kind of hidden. So I don't know going forward, this has to be evaluated. What is the best thing? But those posters should have been up for a month. And everybody would admit that this Christmas event, though everybody that went was so excited, but I will say, I heard quite a few of the pop-up people say, hey, we knew what it was and we wanted to come back. So I think it will only gain more momentum. And as far as the word getting out, I mean, it's, again, we were talking about this. I mean, you have different newspapers and you have a lot of different venues of how to get the word out, and it's challenging. It's a challenge, and I think it's something that people continue to play with when they have events. But I did notice that Franklin had a big 4-color ad, you know, in the Derrick with all the events, and that's why I want to get these dates solid, and I want to be able to promote the entire block. And then we could put ads like that in the regional magazines, the travel magazines. It would be great, but I need some budget to help me do that.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Just real quick, your budget requested $5,000. If you were not awarded the full $5,000, is your project still scalable? Will you still move forward without the full amount requested?
Yes, we would.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
One quick one. Have any of the pop-ups from the last two events, have they started talking a little bit more about doing a more permanent location anywhere, or are they still just enjoying the idea of doing pop-ups and aren't looking for?
You know, I'm going to meet with them. I put out an email to them inviting them to come and talk. Honestly, there's some people that are doing businesses from their home. This is a chance for them to press the flesh. Brooke came from Brookville, and she does Wild Rose Bread Company, and I know she was just astounded. She was in Clarion River Brewery, and there was just a huge line. She sold out. And it's a chance to meet some new customers. I think we need to work with these people. The other thing that I would love is a co-op space in Clarion that could be a really cool gift store in the front, putting our best foot forward with a lot of, you know, local merchandise that looks, you know, kind of that hipster vibe kind of stuff, and then rent behind for some of these pop-up shops. But we do want to differentiate between crafting and pop-up. And we want them to think more entrepreneurial, and they are going to need some training, and that's why small business development is perfect. I mean, for, you know, Cindy and I talked about doing she already does a class on developing a small business. If we had a co-op space, we could give them free rent for 6 months. You know, put a contest with the class. I mean, there's so many things we could do.
Okay, Good. Thank you very much, Nancy.
Thank you.
We appreciate your presentation. Thank you. In between each presentation, we're going to give the judges a few minutes to kind of collect their thoughts on the individual that just presented, and I'll find a few ways to kill a few minutes while we're doing that. I do want to point out that the $10,000 that is available tonight, $5,000 of that is from the U.S. Department of Agriculture, and $5,000 is from the Federal Home Loan Bank of Pittsburgh. So we are very grateful to them for providing the financial resources for this event. And we do hope that this is not only the first, but an annual event that takes place here in Clarion. I know that the Small Business Development Center runs a business pitch competition for students at the university, and it would be great if we can kind of connect these things, if not directly, at least in terms of getting the students more involved in entrepreneurial development here in Clarion, as well as I mentioned earlier, those folks who are doing things in their garage or their basement or in the upstairs office. So with that, if the judges are just about done, we're going to move on to our second presentation. Our second presenter tonight is Mr. Joe Scarnati, who is the owner of the Old Wines store here on Main Street and the owner of Dan Smith Candy. So, Mr. Scarnati.
Since 1995, almost 30 years ago, Dan Smith's Candies and Gifts has been a proud member of the Clarion Downtown Retailers. Earlier this year, Lisa and Max Heller, Amy Scarnati, and I made a sizable commitment to the downtown with the purchase of the former wine building. With the purchase price and renovations, we have invested almost $300,000 into that property. I like to always say, don't come and ask for a handout or a grant unless you have skin in the game. We clearly have skin in the game in making sure that retail is going to go well in that spot. We have transformed and saved what I would call an iconic building, and we are proud to have created a destination, and I like to use that word, destination, for shoppers of all ages. The inside of an almost 10,000 square foot building is now home to Dan Smith's Candies and Gifts, the Sugar Tree Boutique, and over 40 independent vendors. 40 independent vendors who are small business people. They range from single moms that do crafts and artwork to retired couples. They're selling crafts, antiques, and collectibles. And with the second floor completely full of these small vendors, we have seen sales on a day-to-day basis in our candy store up anywhere from 40 to 50%. So it's an amazing increase in foot traffic and sales with the combination of the vendors, the Sugar Tree Boutique, and Dan Smith's Candies. The excitement inside the building now needs to be reflected on the outside, and thus our application for a grant to redo and rehab our facade. As you can see from the rendering, a picture of what the facade will look like, and currently there is a banner up on the building that reflects the future facade. And yes, we will be painting and repairing the older facade, but the highlight will be the specially designed and built neon movie marquee style sign to advertise what is now known as the Main Street Emporium. The sign will take the building back to days when downtowns were the center of all community activity, where there was excitement, where young people ran the streets and older people enjoyed strolling the streets. We've committed as owners to make shoppers not only come into our store, but to shop and support all the retailers by making their visit nostalgic. Now, how have we done this? Dan Smith started in 1953 selling ice cream and a few candies. We have brought Dan Smith's ice cream back to the Main Street Emporium. We have brought back milkshakes. We'll have seating outside. We'll be able to have families of all ages come downtown, and not only just in the daytime, extended hours in the evenings, so that families can be in downtown and help support the entire downtown. The neon marquee sign will be made locally, and it's an estimated cost of $17,350. The sign will measure 11 foot by 18 foot, and we will be prepared to have that sign hung and installed in the spring of 2022. As people like to say, this is shovel ready. We have created a destination for all ages to bring people back to the downtown. Now we want to light up the sidewalks with our marquee with the same excitement as shoppers can find in the large cities. So I appreciate your listening, and I'll be happy to take any questions.
You want to go first this time? Or do you want? Yeah, okay. She's organizing her question. As a business owner in town, I know one of the big issues that comes up for any of us is approval for signage and going by the borough regulations and so on. Have you discussed any of this with the borough yet?
Yes, we have.
Okay, so the size, the what the neon, everything was.
Yes.
It falls within the. Okay. That was mine.
Good.
With the cost of the signage that you stated, a little over $17,000, and the maximum amount that you would receive would be $10,000, and are you willing, or is your group willing to then personally cover the rest of the cost of that, or how do you anticipate?
I'm looking for volunteers, but yes, we will be covering the cost. As I said, we've made a sizable investment in the building with renovations. I think anybody that has gone inside the building will see a major transformation on the ground level and on the second level. And so we are committed to moving forward and putting the marquee up. Because as I said, there's a lot of excitement in that building. There's a lot of energy with people when they come in and they see what has been done. And no better way to draw people inside a building than how it looks from the outside.
Mr. Scarnati, what's the age of the building itself, do you know?
I believe the building's about 120 years old.
And the existing facade, I'm looking at the rendering there, you've got sort of the sign in the middle, and then sort of the what I'll call two pink stripes on either side. Is that also neon lighting, or is that paint, or?
First off, I'm colorblind.
Uh-oh.
I don't appreciate the color question.
Right.
What I can tell you is the rendering is what this manufacturer, the sign, would propose. This facade clearly needs to be, in the condition it's in now, needs to be cleaned, repaired, and then painted a background color. Whether or not it's that specific color, I can't speak to. But what I will say is one of the options is certainly putting the neon up those tall facade areas. And also we will be looking at, we have a pretty cool neon ice cream cone that if we can be allowed to stick it on the side of the building, we're going to do that also. But we want to be very retro. We want to go back. As I said, it's a good feeling. People have a good feeling when they see this. And so the sign is designed that no matter who the tenants are in the building, these can be changed like a movie marquee coming soon.
I don't think I have any more questions.
Questions? No?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So while the judges are
Throughout
taking
West
a few
Central
minutes to fill
Pennsylvania,
out their
people
form
are
on this
losing their
one,
glasses.
I just want
Well, they
to
haven't
mention real
lost
quickly
them.
that
They just
as
don't need
part
them
of
anymore.
this
Thanks to the
World
amazing LASIK
Placemaking
surgeons at
Innovation
Laurel Eye
Challenge
Clinic.
grant,
Call Laurel
that
Eye
Clarion
Clinic and schedule
Blueprint
your free
Community
consultation.
Red Bank Chevrolet, the area's #1 Chevrolet dealer and Clarion County's truck headquarters. So if you're in the market for a new or used Chevrolet car, truck, or SUV, go to Red Bank Chevrolet, 500 Broad Street in New Bethlehem, or online exploreClarion.com. Skilled staff at Red Bank Chevrolet is ready to meet all of your automotive needs. If we don't see you today, we'll see you at Red Bank Chevrolet.
Hi, my name is Jason, and welcome to Sweet Basil. Come on in.
build up this entrepreneurial ecosystem in Clarion. And the fifth one is to build upon this evolution of Clarion and Edinburgh and Cal U and what that may mean for the future of the Clarion community. So those are the 5 pillars. Clarion Blueprint Communities is interested in folks that are would like to volunteer to sit on any of these operating committees. If you have an interest in any of these areas, you can get in touch with Jessica Funk at the Clarion County Economic Development Corporation, and she'll get you in touch with the right people at Clarion Blueprint Communities, Inc. So with that, we will invite up our third presenter this evening, Mr. Tom Schweitzer.
Are we good? Okay. I was waiting for those guys, but they weren't looking at me. Okay, so my name is Tom Schweitzer, and our pitch is for a kayak and paddleboard rental service that would be, as Bill said, down at the Toby Boat Launch. A few years ago, my family and I went to the Outer Banks, and we rented stand-up paddleboards while we were there. And it took us a little while to figure out how to get that through the surf, because that's not an easy task. But once we did, we got out in the ocean, just had a great time. And on the way home, my wife asked how I enjoyed it. And I said, I really think I really enjoyed it quite a bit, except I didn't care much for the rental process. I felt like it could be streamlined and automated. And by the time I got home from what is an 11, 12-hour drive, I pretty well had the idea figured out how we could do this. And I feel like I lived in Virginia for 10 years. I moved away for a chunk of time, moved back, and I don't want to be the kind of guy that just complains that there aren't things to do in Clarion. Let's create the things to do in Clarion. So I said, let's start this business, see if we can get this thing going. So we built a website, went through the work of working with the with the borough getting the approval to do to put the site in. Down at the Toby Boat Launch, I felt like was the perfect place. I owned a kayak for a period of time and ended up selling it, not because I dislike paddling, but because the hassle of storing it and transporting it and getting it to the water and back out and getting it back and all the stuff that goes with that, it took the fun out of it, so I wasn't doing it much. But my mother-in-law has kayaks that are about 20 yards from the water, and I use them all the time. And in fact, bought one for my kids. We paddle around. My 6-year-old loves to paddle with me. My 4-year-old likes to be towed by dad and drag her oar in the water, so it gives me an extra workout. Now, we built the website. We will be offering stand-up paddle boards, fishing kayaks, and standard kayaks. We're going with Performance Kayak out of Brookville. We want to try and do as much locally as we can. We're having the station built by Tin Town Metalworks, and we are going with these sit-on-top style kayaks because to us the safety of the rider is very important. I don't want someone getting stuck inside of it if they tip it or having it sink, and so I'd rather people be safe, so we'll go with sit on top that are extremely comfortable and very high quality so that they may stand up to the rigors of a rental service as well as take on the weather elements as they'll be sitting out in the weather for several months of the year. So we built the website where you can go on, rent your unit, schedule it in the future if you so desire, get your day figured out that you want to go. You have the rental for the entire day, and you can go and paddle all over the river. And since it's dam controlled, it's essentially a reservoir, you can paddle right back and lock it back up. It's completely self-service. There won't be an employee there. So when you rent, you will be emailed a code. You type the code into a lock, unlock your boat, go use it, bring it back, lock it back up, and you're good to go. It opens up the river to anyone. You know, not everyone has a vehicle that can transport a kayak. Not everybody has, maybe they're renting an apartment and they can't store it. Maybe they're a student at Clarion and they just don't have a place to put one. So this opens up, or perhaps they just can't afford one. And this opens up the river and the resources that we have to people that may not otherwise have the opportunity to use it. And it does something else too that's rather interesting, I believe, is being less than a mile from our main street, it opens up our main street to a whole host of customers that might not ever hit our main street otherwise. I stole some pictures from Jim, so please don't be angry with me, from the internet. So if someone wanted to rent an Airbnb, we could partner with Jim and we could offer a kayak rental with their rental of an Airbnb. That's not a deal that you're going to get at the Holiday Inn. You know, and it makes the Airbnb a little bit more attractive, and it draws in those things to people that wouldn't normally do it. So if someone is coming to visit their kid in college and they need something to do during the day while their kid's in class, they can rent a few kayaks and paddle around on the river while their son or daughter is in class. Also, we've talked with George about partnering with Mechanistic and offering a beer token with every rental so that people would then be encouraged to come up here after they paddle around on the river and come up and quench their thirst on a nice something frothy and fermented. So that is an opportunity as well to partner with local businesses so that we can not just, line our own pockets and help ourselves grow, but we can grow the area around us as well. We want to see Clarion succeed and grow and flourish. I think we're all here because we desire that. The other thing is if we are able to procure some funds here, it would help us do a few things. One would be it would help us with monthly expenses. This is new and rather innovative. In fact, it took me a lot of try to get insurance because no one's ever heard of this business idea before, so they don't want to insure it. And Burns & Burns, actually local company, is taking us on. So help us with monthly expenses because once again, we're not real sure what those will look like. We know what the internet will cost, we know what our insurance costs, but we don't know how much it's going to take to maintain the boats. We don't know what it's going to take to maintain the station that they'll be sitting on and all those things. It'll help us increase advertising. Once again, it's such a new service that the word's not out that well yet. So we're seeking to help advertise in some innovative ways that once again would help local businesses as well. I've been working with Vinyl Graphics down in Chippenville. He's been helping me do some stuff, signage and different things that can help us to advertise, but I'd like to increase that advertising. Also, it would give me some flexibility in working with local partners, that I don't have to get the full rental fee. I can be certain to, I can flex a little bit financially and as partnerships need. The other thing would be replacement costs. As I said before, we're not real sure what it's going to cost. How long is this kayak going to last me? We don't know. It's pretty new. So it might be a year, it might be 2, it might be 5. We just don't know. So we want to see the ability to kind of hedge against some replacement costs as the business gets its feet under it. And then, of course, if it was able to, it'd be awesome to be able to expand to add more services locally so that more people could take advantage. And I'll open it up now to you for any questions you might have.
Tom, thanks for putting yourself out there and applying to the program. Is this a unique idea? Have you seen this done anywhere in terms of the rental lock?
There's
code?
one company that's doing it, two actually that I've found. One had kind of a turnkey service for about $30,000. It was a trailer that you would bring and drop at the space, and they were not interested in working with me on any kind of franchising deal or anything like that, because I thought if I don't have to recreate the wheel, maybe I won't. And then there's another one called Paddle that they're just strictly paddle boards, and I wanted kayaks in there because I felt like that was something that would be more attractive to our demographic. So like I said, we started really from the ground up and have been designing everything custom.
One follow-up question. The former city manager and me is just curious about your relationship and agreement with the borough. So it's borough-owned property that you'll be on. It's some sort of license agreement? Or?
Yes, we have that in place.
That's great. Thank you.
You mentioned insurance, and one of the things that came into my mind was liability insurance. People get injured or there's a situation. I'm assuming that was addressed with Burns and Burns. So
Absolutely.
It wasn't just insurance on the equipment. You're talking insurance on
injury we put in place a $2 million policy to cover any liabilities or anything like that. Something else we have the ability via the website to do is shut down rentals if the water gets high or if it's not ideal conditions. Like I don't want anyone to get hurt on it. And that's why we went with, I could get a sit inside kayak cheaper, but it's not as safe. So we're doing everything we can to keep people as safe as possible. Life preservers will be provided as well as paddles. So there's everything we can do to keep people safe, we will. And and then the insurance is just kind of backup.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask about the life preservers because I don't see it on the list here of costs.
Oh, did I forget that?
Yeah. Okay. No, so that was a question I had about that, and with the safety and all. What security measures? I mean, I see you do have like a security camera. Is that?
Yeah, we'll have security cameras, and we have the ability to place. And I'm giving my secrets away, so if you're planning on stealing my boat, don't listen. But we have the ability to hide trackers inside of the boat. So if it disappears, I'll be able to find it. Plus, I'll have the person's credit card, so we're not overly worried about that. Right. And in my opinion too, if you give people a chance to be honest, a lot of times they are. Right. So we're trusting that. I'm sure there will be some shenanigans, but it's nothing we can't handle.
Yeah. Now, I know I did go look at your website, and I don't remember now. I'm assuming you'll have something like a form that they'll sign that,
Yeah. So they're
at their own risk.
Part of the process. There'll be a waiver for sure.
Waiver.
Yeah. That, and of course we'll be naming the borough and Brookfield Renewables and some other, and those are the two entities I think that will be named as well in our insurance and in the waiver that they can't be held liable. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Have you backed into a price point yet?
Yeah, so we're thinking $30 a day for the kayaks and then $35 a day for the stand-up paddle boards. Yeah.
And then you'll be having, you'll go down every day at the end of the day to check on all the equipment?
Right,
I mean,
yeah.
everything is going to be checked before the next business day or at the
Right, yeah,
beginning of
we'll have them obviously under surveillance, so we'll see what's going on. And we can check the locks remotely and see if they're locked back up.
Right.
So we're actually able to do quite a bit remotely. But yeah, there'll be...
But, I mean, to make sure that there's not a broken paddle, that there's not a torn PFD, things
Yep.
like that.
Yep.
Okay. Eyes on it
Yep.
every day. Okay.
Yep.
In terms of, you talked about having a website, and I haven't been on it either, but it interests me, so I will go on and look. But in terms of some marketing strategies, do you plan on partnering with different groups in the community, like the Chamber and the university? And you had mentioned, kind of focusing on even university students or parents that come in to visit their students, so just partnering with those people.
Yeah, we'll partner with anyone who wants to. We're not gonna, I don't know, not partner with people, but we do want to. I hadn't actually thought about trying to partner up with the university and do something together, so that's a great idea. But yeah, we're open to that. Yeah.
Any other questions?
Just one follow-up. So again, if you were not awarded the full request, is your business side, sounds like you're moving forward, but is your business still viable and still
Absolutely.
moving forward?
Yeah, we have, when I say we, it's my father and myself, which I'm excited to be in. I think he's watching, so hey, Dad. But like, I'm excited to be in business with my dad. It's just the more stuff we keep bees together, we do a bunch of stuff together, hunt together. So like, any time I get with my dad, I try and take it. So this is just another opportunity to do stuff with my old man, and he's kind enough to be my financial backer. So he's been doing that, but the grant would really just help us do a little bit of extra stuff that alleviates some of that burden.
Great.
Yeah.
Other questions? Okay, Tom, thank you very
Thank you.
much. Okay, so at this point, I think Jess will take the judges back to the hermetically sealed room back there to evaluate the presentations and render a decision. I understand that my previous Academy Award-winning presentation on the vision for Clarion was preempted by a pizza commercial. And by the way, thank you very much, and I hope you patronized that pizza company if you were watching. But what we're going to do now is we're going to invite Cindy Nellis from the Clarion University Small Business Development Center to come up and talk a little bit about, if you're watching this at home, how you can get involved in taking your business idea, your product, and working toward a more dynamic effort at maybe commercializing that or turning a hobby into a business. So with that, Cindy, if you wouldn't mind coming up.
With so much to protect each day, Eric Schick Insurance and Financial Services is here to help you find the right coverage that fits your life. Call 814-275-2210 to learn more.
Well, good evening, everyone, and I'm excited to be able to present to you. I'm Cindy Nellis, and I'm the director of the Clarion University Small Business Development Center, and want to say thank you to the Clarion Blueprint Community and the Pennsylvania Downtown Center for making tonight's event happen. It's quite exciting for me, and I'm excited. I was excited with all the contestants, and good luck to all of you. I wanted to take just a few minutes just to kind of run down who we are and what we do. Sometimes I like to say, and I hate to say it, but I have to say it, sometimes we're the best kept secret around. And so when I have the opportunity to speak to a large community, I'm always very grateful. So thank you for giving me this opportunity. I'd like to first kind of give you an overview of the Small Business Development Center, kind of why we exist. So the Small Business Development Center, we're actually part of a national network called America's Small Business Development Center. So no matter where you are in our country, there is a Small Business Development Center available to help you. In Pennsylvania, I'm very proud to say that our network is very strong because of our host institutions. And so our network is made up of 16 centers, all hosted by colleges and universities across the Commonwealth. Clarion University is our host, and our center is responsible for 10 counties in northwest, north central Pennsylvania. You'll see on my slide, hopefully you can see that, the universities and colleges that host an SBDC in Pennsylvania are large, they're small, they're public, they're private, so it's quite a variety of different kinds of institutions. And the really great thing about our network is we're not standalone. We work together with our centers, and we leverage the resources not only at our host institutions, but also the resources at our other host institutions as well. And you know, there are many different examples, but you know, if I have a specific need that maybe my center or my university can't provide, I do reach out to my colleagues at the other universities. So how are we funded? Because I'm soon going to tell you that our services are provided at no cost. And how we're able to do that is because we're funded through federal and state grants, all funded through tax dollars. Our funding on a federal level comes through the Small Business Administration, and on a state level it comes through the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development. And then, of course, another funder is our host institution, who does invest in our program. And so I say a special thank you to those stakeholders that make what I do possible. So the Small Business Development Center, we are an organization with a mission to help businesses start, grow, and prosper. And we do it through our one-on-one business consulting services and our training. Ultimately, our mission is to help our business owners make better business decisions. And we do that through the education that we provide with our consulting services. We also provide tools and resources and expertise. And ultimately, we are an organization that can connect you with other resources. So we're not the beginning and the end. We're the beginning, and we're one of our one of the great things about the SBDC is that we can connect you with other economic development partners, as well as other resources across the state. Our services are provided to for-profit businesses, and to us, a small business is any business with less than 500 employees. So when you look around our communities, it's basically everybody that we can work with. And again, just as a reminder, our services are provided at no cost, and they're confidential. We also spend a lot of time bringing training events to our region. And my center focuses on training as a tool to reach more people and bring training topics to a region that, you don't have the variety of different training options here. So we utilize partnering and bringing a lot of different types of training events here. Interestingly, through the pandemic, our organization quickly pivoted, and our training events now are all hosted online as webinars. And the great thing about that is we now can bring to you more different types of training events, but give you access to even more training opportunities, because not only do you have the opportunity to sit in on our webinars from our center, but every center in Pennsylvania, all 16 centers, are offering webinars. And so we direct everybody to our statewide website and encourage you to take a look at what we have going. Our training events, our topics are really all over the board. We do one consistent training event every month. It's our first step workshop. It's our pre-venture planning workshop. And it's about a 2 to 3 hour workshop that we do one Wednesday a month, one Saturday a month. We also do consistent workshops on QuickBooks, many workshops on social media. We do a Live to Lead training event every year. And the topics go on and on. You can check us out. But ultimately, a couple of the collaborations that we have set up through our training events over the last couple of years, I did want to mention this. This past year in 2021, we've partnered with the Pennsylvania Department of Revenue, and we do a monthly workshop with them. We have an alliance, this is my center, but we do broadcast these across the state. We have an alliance with OSHA to bring regular workshops on worker safety to our region. And then we are also partnering with Wage and Hour as well to bring regular events to the region on workforce topics. We also utilize our resources to purchase databases for industry and market research. And so this kind of gives you an idea of the types of databases that our small business owners can connect with us to conduct some research. So we have databases that collect information on consumer expenditures and demographics, industry reports. We have one on financial benchmarking. We have business lists that our clients can use to create prospecting lists, competitor lists, and supplier lists. And then we also invest in IBIS World, which is a pretty extensive industry research report. So we utilize these resources with many of our clients, most importantly with businesses who are looking to start, to help them educate on the industry that they're going into, as well as educating them on the demographics of the market that they're targeting. We also utilize these resources for businesses who are looking to pivot into new markets, as well as helping businesses who are in financial distress, helping them to realign their financials with our benchmarking database. Just a few examples. And I utilize this graphic because for so many years, you know, when you think about the Small Business Development Center, we're the startup organization. And our organization is, although we do, that's our sweet spot, and we're here to help businesses start, we're also here for existing businesses. And so no matter where you are in the business life cycle, we can plug in and help you. And so for those businesses that are out there, if you have questions, if you're having struggles, you need to be connected, or you just need to sit down and brainstorm with someone, I encourage you to connect with the Small Business Development Center. That's what we're here for. As a grant-funded organization, we're a performance-based organization, and so I always quickly will give you an idea of kind of how we are measured in our performance. And so throughout the last year with the pandemic, it has been a crazy time for the Small Business Development Center. When everything shut down, everything ramped up for us. And so when you look at the kind of activity that we have, we look at the number of clients that we serve, we look at the number of consulting hours we provide, the amount of capital that our clients secure, and the number of business starts. And quite interestingly, and I think that you can see this not only here but elsewhere, but through the pandemic, we actually had more businesses start than we normally do in a year. So that was quite exciting. And of course, our training events increased and our training attendees increased as well. But these are just some of our performance metrics from this past fiscal year. So being hosted at Clarion University, we want to build value to our host. And so we have a sister organization within the Small Business Development Center called our Entrepreneurial Leadership Center. And this is a center that focuses in on the students, the faculty, and the staff at Clarion University. And we are the coordinator of our students who participate in the Pennsylvania State System of Higher Education Startup Challenge, which is going on right now. And a few years ago, I guess the Startup Challenge is in their 11th year. And a few years ago, we started locally a biz pitch competition to help feed into that Startup Challenge. But more importantly, we wanted to give our students kind of a focal point and build that spirit of entrepreneurship on campus. And so a few weeks ago during Global Entrepreneurship Week, we hosted our 4th annual Clarion University Student Biz Pitch Competition. And that competition is actually funded through donated dollars from a student club, a local bank, as well as alumni. And we bring in alumni judges from all over to help judge this competition. It was so much fun. We had, in our finals, we did have 4 students participate, and we awarded a little over $3,200 to the students. So we had a first place with $1,500. I guess it's coming up. Second place with $1,000, third place for $500, and we have a fan favorite of $250. And it really has helped to feed students into our startup challenge. The other thing that our Entrepreneurial Leadership Center does as well is we try to connect our businesses to our students for internship placements, and we also look to help the university identify mentors who can mentor our student entrepreneurs and our students in general. So this is a picture of our Biz Pitch competition. I had a alumni judge that came into town from New Jersey, one from Maryland, and then I had Dr. Kevin Roth, my predecessor before me, and a faculty member, a retired faculty member, who participated as a judge. And it was quite a fun night, I can't tell you. I can't wait till next year. And when I talked about the Startup Challenge, I also wanted to brag a little bit about our students, because over the last 11 years, Clarion University has had 6 place winners in that competition, and we have brought home over $25,000 locally to our students. Now, the difference between these 2 competitions is that my Biz Pitch competition, it's cash in the student's pocket. So it ultimately, I'm helping them provide an opportunity not only to explore entrepreneurship, but also to practice their public speaking skills. And this year was quite exciting. I was very, very pleased with the performance of the students, and really a lot of transformation of the students from the preliminary round to the dress rehearsal to the final event. So I was quite excited with that. And we do have a number of students who are planning to participate in the Startup Challenge. The deadline's coming up in a few weeks, so we're still recruiting, but I think I'm gonna have at least 4 or 5 students participate. And then finally, the last thing, which is something that is relatively new, but I'm speaking to all of the business owners out there. The Small Business Development Center works with one of our marketing professors, Dr. Singh. And Dr. Singh, every spring, has a marketing class. It's called a Marketing Problems and Solutions. And we're looking for businesses who would like to work with a team of students on a marketing problem that you have that you would like our students to work on. And so the Small Business Development Center connects and works directly with you and the students. We're actively recruiting now. Hopefully by the end of the year, we'll identify a number of businesses that will work with our students. We connect you in the spring, the first part of spring semester, and then it's your responsibility to work hand in hand with the students throughout the semester. And at the end of the semester, they present to you all about your business and then the solution to the marketing problem that you presented to them. And it's been a lot of fun. We've been doing this for a couple of years as well. We've worked with 25 businesses in 5 counties, and we've connected 60 plus students to those businesses, and there's been a lot of fun outcomes to that marketing case study collaboration. So with that, that's all about the Small Business Development Center. I have my contact information. I'm happy to answer any questions too.
Okay.
Let me bring this back up.
So I think that they are getting close to some decisions back there. Just let me real quickly explain how this will work. Are you guys going to go to a commercial? Okay, let me know when you're done there. I'll explain. So that the throngs at home.
Throughout West Central Pennsylvania, people are losing their glasses. Well, they haven't really lost them. They just don't need them anymore. Thanks to the amazing LASIK surgeons at Laurel Eye Clinic. Call Laurel Eye Clinic and schedule your free consultation.
Applicants a little bit about how this will work. The money is pretty readily available. It's not like we have to wait to draw it down from the federal government or from some other entity. We've already got the money in hand. What we will do is once the judges render a decision, we will negotiate whatever that final number is in terms of how you want to allocate it over your budget. Some of you have a very simple budget. Some of you have a more budget with additional line items. We'll negotiate that. It will be a reimbursement, and it'll be a very quick reimbursement. So you get an invoice, you give Jessica the invoice or somebody on the Clarion Blueprint team, they'll get it to us, and in about a week or two, you'll get a check back from us for that amount of money on the invoice that you submit to us. Once the decisions are made over the course of the next couple of weeks between maybe now and Christmas, we will get the big check, and we will make arrangements to kind of come to your business and make a check presentation with folks from obviously your business, from Clarion Blueprint, from the Small Business Development Center. We'll make that check presentation, and then off you go to begin implementing your program. So does anybody of any of the smoke coming out of the chimney back there? So a decision may have been rendered. So I think Jess is going to pass the decision on to Eric Funk. What? Andy's going to make the? Oh, Andy's going to make.
Yeah, are we all sitting down here? Can we sit back at our seats?
Yeah, you can sit back at your seat. You're the judges. You can do whatever the heck you want to do.
So, since I'm the only non-local guy, I get to be the guy that awards and gets the hell out of town. So, head back to Meadville. So again, thank you to each of the applicants. We enjoyed our evening and hearing from each of you about 3 great projects that we're excited about. We did a lot of arm wrestling in the back, and we do have sort of a I don't know if a ranking in terms of 1, 2, 3, but we did sort of rank the proposals and talked about the impact, right, of what we where we think the greatest impact in the community is. And so our first award would go to Nancy Hanna, the local Clarion County, and the award in the amount of $5,000. Nancy, we think we're excited about your proposal, really about the pipeline and the impact that it has potential for downtown, right? Not only to create excitement again, but to involve partners and to create a pipeline of potential entrepreneurs to fill downtown spaces eventually, right? And obviously, the Emporium is a multi-vendor space, right, where there's probably opportunity for those vendors as well. And so, Nancy, you're the first award. The second and third awards then are equally $2,500 to Mr. Scarnati and Mr. Schweitzer for their proposals. Tom, I'll just address yours first. And that what we're really excited about is it's very innovative, right? I'm an outdoors guy, I'm a conservationist, I'm a paddler myself. But what we like also is The potential for impact in business and cooperation and partnering with business here in town, but we like the health and wellness aspects of it, right? In terms of encouraging people to explore the resources of Clarion, of this area, of the river, to get people active. That's particularly important to the medical community here as well. And then Mr. Scarnati, the third award, then in the same amount, $2,500 for the sign at the Emporium, Main Street Emporium. We're excited about the momentum there. Certainly, you've made a tremendous investment there, and we think the sign will certainly enliven and create some excitement as well. But like you say, to reflect the excitement on the outside as it does on the inside. And so there's a little bit of feedback for each of our proposals and some of our justification.
Great, thank you. So just a couple of real quick thoughts about things. As far as the Emporium is concerned, there is a place, if you get the opportunity to go down to Bedford, there's a place down there called Founders Crossing, which they have developed into a facility very similar to yours, a little bit larger, but they have a restaurant inside, and actually they've developed it to the point now where they bring buses into Bedford just to go to Founders Crossing. So if you get an opportunity to take a ride down 99 and go visit Bedford at some point, we can make arrangements. There is a Main Street program down there, and we can let you get you hooked up with the folks down there, and you can go visit Founders Crossing. Nancy, as far as your project is concerned, there are a couple of places around the Commonwealth, not real far south in Bedford, but just north of here up in Bradford, that has a place called Main Street Mercantile. And it's very much the kind of a facility that you're talking about, kind of a co-op space that can be utilized for the kind of operation that you're talking about. And Tom, for you, the whole aspect of outdoor recreation is so important to the economy of the Commonwealth. And Janice Horn is back there. She chairs the nature-based placemaking committee of Clarion Blueprint Incorporated. And so, think of this as seed money. I mean, there are other resources coming up. The U.S. Department of Agriculture's business development grants are due in February. They're much, much larger chunks of money, and the Innovation Committee will probably be working on looking at how they can apply for some of those funds. I know that down the road that the folks here in Clarion would love to get into the Commonwealth's Main Street program, which could open up the door for additional facade renovation money, for public improvement dollars, for tax credits, for business investment in town. So, think of this as, kind of a stepping stone. I'll say this, we had a couple of other people who withdrew applications. We had one young woman who I think has an incredible idea for a business here in Clarion. She'd like to create a sheltered workshop bakery for developmentally challenged people, and I thought that was a great idea. Another young lady who was interested in a local foods effort, and a gentleman who would like to open a Reiki service up here in Clarion. So there is entrepreneurial interest in this area, and I think that, and I'll just finish with this. So many of Pennsylvania's rural communities were based on agriculture and extractive industries and manufacturing, still very, very important aspects. But as the economy evolves, communities need to evolve with it and to become more responsive to the demands of 21st century economics. And our hope is that this kind of efforts and the kind of efforts that Cindy runs with the Small Business Development Center will keep more of the best and brightest from Clarion County and the area in Clarion and in the area, and not have them, go down to Pittsburgh or over to Philadelphia or Harrisburg or Cleveland or Erie or wherever they go, the Research Triangle, Austin, all the hot spots. So we really hope that this is the beginning of a strong entrepreneurial development effort in Clarion. I want to thank the three judges. Andy, thank you so much. All of you, Bridget and Jen, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us tonight. We asked you to do it because I didn't want to do that job. So thank you very much. And with that, Eric, do you have any final words you want to say? Are we good to go? Okay. Thank you all very much, and we'll see you all soon. Take care.
It's nice to meet you. Have a safe trip.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
Good job.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun.